Hi everyone, it's Kelly from Kellie's Bead Boutique. So I receive lots of emails from everyone, and I really do appreciate each and every person that takes the time to drop me a note and tell me just maybe some words of encouragement, or maybe a request on something they're looking for, or maybe something that I should do a video on. And one of the comments I get all the time is, could you please make some more kits? And I feel like I have a ton of them, but I guess people are always just looking for more ideas. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm just going to make a simple kit, something that you guys can just follow along, super easy, really quick. So if you want to see what I'm making, come and join me. So to make our Summer Stroll bracelet, I'm going to be using some 0.8 elasticity. It's one of my favorite products for making stretchy bracelets. I have some 8mm matte howlite, and I have one 4mm matte howlite. I have some matte gray wood. I also have some matte blue howlite. I have some spacer beads, a guru bead that's kind of just more like a bail. I have a head pin and a jump ring, and I have a little charm. We're also going to be using a bit of GS Hypo cement today. And for tools, I have some scissors, and I have my 4 basic tools. I have my chain nose pliers, my round nose pliers, my bent chain nose pliers, and my cutters. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is make my little dangle. I find it easier to do this at the beginning versus doing it at the end. So I'm going to take my 4mm matte howlite, and I'm going to place it on my head pin. I'm now going to take my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to place it right on top there at the very, very end, because I don't want to have much of a neck on here. So now I'm going to hold it so that the tool is parallel to the table. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press away. These are really heavy gauge, so they're a little bit harder to use, and your thumb is the strongest part of your hand. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers and have them so that they're parallel to my body, and I'm going to pop that right on top there. And I want to go about 1/3 of the way up. Now I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to push that straight up and over, and then use my thumb to press it straight down. Now I'm going to open up those pliers, but I'm not going to take them out. I'm just going to rotate them so that they're now parallel to the table. Super simple. Now I'm going to bring that little wire that's in the front, and I'm going to pull it straight to the back. So now we've created a bit of a loop. Now this one doesn't look so pretty, so I'm going to just make it look a little nicer by pulling that arm straight up and then rotating that to the right, until we have something that looks like that. That's kind of like a little stop sign with an arm hanging out there. All right, so now I'm going to add this to the bottom of the bail. I just find that this step is a little easier without the charm on there. So I just pop that in there, and now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and go straight right across that entire loop there, and I'm going to wrap this around. Now, because these are really heavy, it is a little harder to do. You can use your fingers, but it is a lot easier to use your bent chain nose plier. So what I like to do is take the very tip of the plier on the tip of the wire, and now I'm going to sort of give it a good tug and lock that in there. It's really important that that is the first part that where you have a really good connection. If it's loose, then your wraps don't look so nice. So now I'm going to go around once, and then twice, and I let go each time, otherwise the wire breaks, and 3 times. And then now you're going to have yourself a nice wrapped loop. So now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to use the flush part of my cutters and come in and give that a little snip. Now we're going to take this little burr that's sticking up there, and I just take the very tip of my pliers and just give that a little push down. And I'm just sort of molding it around, and now you don't have any burr sticking out there. So that's a nice, perfect wrapped loop. So I've got myself about 20 inches of my 0.8 elasticity. I know that's way too much, but I find it really hard with my hands being, I've got arthritis and stuff. I find it really hard to make knots in little tiny bits of pieces. So if I leave myself a little extra room, I find it a lot easier. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stretch out our elastic. I used to hate this elastic. No offense to Bead, because I think they're a wonderful company, but it was because I didn't know how to use it. So what I found out is that I was never tying the knots correctly, and that was because I wasn't stretching out my elastic. And when the elastic isn't stretched out, the knots just don't want to sort of hold. They don't want to grip. So it's really important that you stretch this out. Now I'm pulling, but I'm not pulling so tight. Like, I'm actually pulling pretty hard there, but I'm going to see if I can do it. See, I'm pulling really hard there, and I can't even break it. Now, you don't want to try and break it, obviously. I'm just showing you that you can actually pull fairly hard. Not only does that make it easier to tie, but it will also stop your bracelet from sagging. So that's a really important step. Okay, so let's assemble our bracelet. So I'm first going to put on my matte howlite. I'm going to leave 2 off to the side. So just string these on. I came up with this one because I was trying to think of what people wear in the summer, and everybody seems to wear a lot of white. And I really like the idea of sort of a, you know, a beachy, sandy kind of thing, and that's why I added the blue for the water and the brown for the sand. I thought that was kind of a pretty combination. Okay, so we have our howlite in the back, and now we will have one of our little spacers. I have to excuse all the traffic in the background if you can hear that. It is very early in the morning and rush hour here, so lots of traffic. So now I have my matte wood and our spacers on either side, and now I'm going to put on one of our matte blue howlite and another spacer and our final howlite on that side. So now I'm just going to repeat on the other side. So I'll put one of our spacers on and the matte wood, and another spacer, our last spacer, and our last matte howlite. Okay, so I'm just going to move that stuff out of the way. Okay, so there's our bracelet. Now I will give you enough beads so that you can make up to an 8-inch wrist. So I will give you, and I think 1 more or 2 more, so it does fit fairly large. So everybody will have to size this to their own wrist, and I can never tell you what size that's going to be. So what you're going to remove probably is some of the white howlite just to make it a little bit smaller. If you wanted to have more white howlite, you could always take out one of the pieces of wood on either side. You know, you can always customize this. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little guru bead, and I love these because they have a nice large hole, and that will help us hide the knot. So I'm going to tie this in a surgeon's knot. So what you do is you just tie it like you're going to tie a pair of shoes, and then you're going to bring that through 1 more time. So it goes through like 3 times there. So now I'm going to pull fairly tight, and I just want to get those together. So I am pulling fairly snug. Now I'm going to take it and carefully, you can see I've got way too much, but with my arthritic hands, it's just so hard. So I do find it easier to be a little wasteful, unfortunately. This stuff is so cheap, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so you can see that I'm putting tension on the inside. I want to try and maintain that tension. And now I've got another surgeon's knot. So I kind of do this in one fell swoop. So it's hard to see, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these 2 fingers out and pull on these at the same time because I want to create a knot without losing too much of that tension. So it's going to go pretty quick. So there we go. I just do that really, really quick and give that another pull. Now because we do have that large hole guru bead, I can do that a couple times. So I'm just going to create another one and do that nice and quick. And you know what? It doesn't hurt to do another one. It's not going to go anywhere. It's nice and snug, but you know, just for the sake of demonstration purposes, you can see again I've got tension on all of those and then pull fast. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my GS Hypo and I'm going to spread that apart so that I've got the knot there, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on that knot. Okay, so now I've let that dry, so I'm going to give that a little trim, and you can trim it pretty close, right down to about 1/8 of an inch. And now I'm going to take that little knot and I'm going to run it right inside that little guru bead, and then you don't even see it. It just popped out the other end there, but there you go. Okay, so our last step is going to be to attach our pretty butterfly charm. So I'm going to take my jump ring and I'm going to place my chain nose plier on one side, having the cut at the top. And I'm going to turn my bent chain nose pliers over, and I'm going to just bend this way. You never want to bend that way. You're always going to bend this way. So I'm going to run it through the very top of the hole there. And then I'm going to just put that little bead that I added there off to the side and run that through. Now I'm going to turn those over because it's really hard to get in there with them turned that way, and I'm going to just do that up nice and tight. So there you go. There's our Summer Stroll bracelet. I love how quick and easy this was to put together, but I think the results are really, really pretty. If you want to purchase your own kit, you just go down into the description box and it'll take you to a link where you can go right to my fully secure website to purchase your own kit. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I love to hear from everybody. And please make sure to subscribe to my channel and don't forget to press the little bell icon which will notify you when any of my videos are live. I want to thank you so much for watching and we'll see you on the next one.